So today I'm going to take you through a quick walkthrough of what you get inside the surgical kit or the oral surgery master set when you sign up for the course. This here, of course, is the first iteration of this kit. First thing you'll see when you open it up is on the inside, I've got everything listed as far as what's in the kit, so you can have a quick run through that. Again, these are tools that are in the course. I'm going to teach you how to use them. I'm going to match them up to the different procedures. If you're not so sure and you're wanting to get going, you're excited before you get too far into the training, then of course it tells you kind of, some of the situations that you could use these instruments for. So that's pretty cool. This here is the next layer. This gives us all our forceps, of course, in one layer. So we've got our kind of sideways English pattern forceps and then the American style forceps here that are sort of forward facing, I would call them. This guy here is our pedo forceps 161. There's a great collection of forceps in here, and we'll go through them one by one in just a minute. Let's see if we can lift this guy out and look at our next layer of tools. So basically in here now, we've got a good setup of elevators. So these are the workhorses basically that you'll be using in your practice. Cryer elevators, Cogswell, luxators, offset luxator, straight luxator. You've got the Warwick James and the Heidbrink root picks, and then you've got some pedo forceps again here, which are super cool. These might be some of my favorite forceps in here, actually, just the function and the build behind them. And then the last section here takes us in. We've got all the accessory kind of tools that you're going to use. So you got your needle driver, your syringe, your Minnesota, which is pretty cool here. Again, we'll go through all this in more detail here right away, but this is a complete kit. So the idea is if you get this kit, you don't have to store it all together, you don't have to process it together. That's why I don't send it in a cassette. It's very common for me when I set up that I've got 3 or 4 tools on the tray and just other ones bagged to the side, and it makes for more room in the sterilizer. It's easier on your systems just to crack a bag open once in a while if you need a tool. Eventually you're going to get to where you're not extracting teeth and finishing with a heap of instruments on the table, right? Because you're going to have this repeatable system where you know what you're going to need for each procedure, and it's only going to be a few instruments. So we'll break this down now and we'll start zooming in, looking more into each specific type of instrument and what you can do with it and how it's constructed. This one here, 76S, this is a versatile tool used mainly for the maxilla. I was with a oral surgeon who was probably in his mid-70s. He's written textbooks, he's very renowned, and he said if he was stranded on an island and he could only have one tool, it would be the 76S. And it is just the versatility of this tool. So this is one that, again, I would use, say, for like an upper central. I would use it if I have sectioned roots, have a molar. I would use it to take out premolars, canines, laterals. It can pretty much do whatever. So it can be adapted even onto pedo teeth as well. Originally, the 76S actually was designed as a pedo forceps. So it's a great instrument to have in your kit, and of course is included. Next up, I'm going to get this out of here, is your 23 cow horn. So you guys will recognize this. Cow horns aren't all designed the same, but yeah, they're very effective. So you use these, of course, with that up and down pumping motion. There's a nice, again, kind of smooth function to these. They've got this black coating, which is a titanium nitride coating on them. It helps to give them some durability, and it also kind of prevents glare and stuff from lights in the mouth, which is another reason that they use it. I also just like the look of the black, so it's actually difficult for them to apply this. So my manufacturer gives me a hard time about it, but I really like them, so I want to keep it that way. And this here again, so lower molars, if you have a good furcation to get into, lock in, pump it, and that should help to get these teeth out. We have on the end of here just like little serrations on the beaks, and yeah, that's a nice instrument to use for sure. These guys here are my favorites. So it's a paired instrument, so 88 L and R. These are pretty mean looking forceps. So they've got this triple beak kind of look to them. The double beak goes in on the palatal side, and the single one goes up into the buccal furcation. So basically you use these on upper molars, and so they're really good. I finally had more success removing upper molars once I started using these instruments. So these are great ones to have in your kit as well. Certainly something that you'll want to give a try. The 210S, you can see, has this sort of offset bend to it. That is so that you can get further back in the mouth. So like if you're looking at taking out a third molar, you want to get back like way down into here, right? And it allows you to not have the patient have to open quite so wide. And they've got a nice smooth beak on them, which is nice. And when you're reaching back there to get these third molars out on the top, generally they have like buccal decay or something like that, and these are very good at adapting to teeth like that, just to give you an extra handle. There's no shame using a forceps back in the upper third molar region. In fact, you probably should use it more frequently just to control the teeth. But yeah, that's a favorite of mine as well. These are all favorites of mine. So the 222 is a very cool instrument. So this forceps here is designed with a very low profile. So the idea behind it has this right angled sort of beak on it. And what that allows you to do is when you're getting in here, let's say you've got a patient that comes in with infection or something, and they can barely open, or they just can't open very well anyways, you can actually get this in here, and you don't need a whole lot of clearance to grab these back molars, okay? So third molars, second molars that are erupted, this is my go-to instrument of choice, basically because it allows me to get in there so much easier to reach back to those back teeth. This guy here, this is the 161. So the 161 is actually a pedodontic forceps, and they're really good for these lower pedo teeth, the lower molars. And the reason is because they grab on, and that little pointy hawk's beak kind of just sinks right down in beside and allows you to pull these guys right out. It almost encircles the whole tooth, which is super good and highly effective. The 74s, break them out here. So these are the 74s, and kind of a pair of those as well. So it's the 74N and the 74, and basically these guys here allow you to grab onto premolars. The 74N can help you to do the lower anteriors. So when you get in here, you can grab on, and you've got lots of clearance from the other teeth so that you're not going to bump into them. And the narrow is really nice because sometimes you get really crowded teeth and it's very difficult to get in there to get them out. So that's a really good tool. 74s, I sometimes will actually cheat and use these up on the top as well. So they will adapt to premolars, they'll adapt to canines, they'll adapt to any of your centrals, laterals, and they give you a little bit more leverage. So if you're smaller, not as strong, you can use these sideways forceps on the top to help to clear out some teeth up here. So these guys have this little spring to help to pop them open. I love the feel of these. I love the handles. I love the offset on them. These are instruments that are great for, again, pedo teeth. So got the 39L and the 39R. You'll notice there's a hawk's beak on one side and the other side is smooth. So it allows you to put that little hawk's beak up into the buccal furcation, and then you can use the smooth side over on the palate. So very effective for pedodontic teeth, and something that you'll want to add to your tray for sure. Again, if you're not taking out pedodontic teeth, you should start, because they're really pretty straightforward. Most of the time they're already somewhat exfoliated, so it's worthwhile giving it a shot. Moving on to our elevators, we've got this guy here. This is our Cogswell B. So the Cogswell B, of course, has this sharp pointed end. It pairs really well with some of the fatter tools like the 1703L burr and the number 8 burr. Good for purchase points. It's good for tight areas, getting in between the teeth and leveraging those teeth out. So great for third molars. That's when I would typically use it the most. I've got the X, MCL, and MCR. These are the mini criers, so right and left version. They have a smaller crier head. I love the criers for third molars. You can use these for upper molars when you split the roots. You can use these for lower molars when you section them to help to deliver the remaining pieces. The crier really truly is one of my favorite instruments once I learned how to use it. So the course will go over in detail how to use these guys, and definitely want to make sure that you give them a shot and give them a fair go, because they will become one of your favorites too, I'm sure. This one here, this is the total workhorse for the kit. This is the 63B, so this is a spade elevator. You can see the offset in the shank. And this one here works really well for getting into the back of the mouth to get up into there for those upper third molars, like up in behind there. They poke up in so good, and it gives you a good surface area to kind of leverage against to bring those teeth down and out. So I love the 63B, one of my favorite elevators in the kit. This guy here is an offset luxator. So It's a 3mm luxator, just like I just showed you, only there's a bit of a bend in the shank, and again allows you better access to the posterior. So the reason I included this was actually that a favorite instrument, one that I was taught early on, was the 77R. It has a similar shape to it, but what I'd always wanted was for a thinner tip, because the 77R has a fatter tip, serrations on it, and sometimes it's hard to get in between the teeth if things are really super tight. And same with the 46R, it was kind of a similar situation. So this has that luxator end, but it has the benefit of having the offset like the 77 or the 46. So great for third molars, great for areas that are difficult to access and tight spaces. If you take out third molars, you're going to find that these work really well for an upper third molar that has a bit of a mesioangular tilt on it. So meaning that the crown is kind of pointed in towards that second molar, and it's wanting to, I guess, not come out the way that they typically would. So these guys here can go right up over top of those third molars to get in over them and then pull them down and back. So super effective instruments. I have good solid shanks on these guys and nice hex handles to give you lots of comfort when you're using them and allow you to apply some good leverage. I prefer these over the POTS elevator. So the POTS has a very similar end on them, only they've got like a cross handle T-bar shape that you would hold it like this and you twist it, and you can apply tons of leverage with those, which is actually somewhat dangerous back there as far as putting too much force on the bone. So these guys are a little bit easier to control your forces with, and they're good to reach for once in a while, but not commonly used for most cases. Again, this kit was designed to have you be prepared for everything, and so although you will use a lot of this stuff, something like those Warwicks, again, you may run into situations where you need them, but you don't use them often. These are the Heidbrink root tip picks, and these are some of my favorite. Next up is the Heidbrink root tip picks, and I absolutely love these. This is the XHL and XHR. They are very sleek looking, but they've got this nice heavy handle on them. The shank is very solid. In my office, when I first went there, they had these puny little root tip picks that would like bend if you tried to put any force on them. They looked like a perioprobe almost, like they had a teeny little handle and weak little ends. I went to the oral surgeon and I was watching them remove teeth, and I saw these on the tray and I thought, what the heck are those? And they broke a root on a case and they got in there and they were like leveraging off these things, and I thought, wow, like that is way more effective. So these things should replace every root tip pick in your drawer for sure, because they're heavy duty and they get the job done way better. So they have sharp tips on them, they can reach right in on different angles, and the sharp tips help to engage the root, and the sturdiness of the shank and the tips will keep them from bending and causing trouble. So this one here, I love the texture on it. This is a suture forceps. Some call it a corn suture forceps. So basically it's got these little ends that you can use to grab the tissue if you want, and you can pass a suture through it. It just allows you basically to reach in the mouth, pick up fragments. They're very versatile. So this nice, bumpy texture is pretty sweet too. I just like the feel of them. Next up is this guy here, which is also super cool. So this is a Friedman Ronger. So you can see the shape of this, right? So this is like this kind of nice S shape, and they actually call it an S-shaped Ronger. It's got this little spring mechanism here to spring it open. It's got nice cutting tips on it that are good and sharp, and it allows you to kind of reach in up behind these teeth, right? So you can get in a little bit better, a little bit easier to where you need to go, because again, the tips are small and very versatile as far as clipping bone or taking off tissue tags, stuff like that. One of the #1 instruments ordered in offices, surprisingly, by a large margin, is scissors. And these guys here, these are great scissors. So they've got this little offset to them. Again, they're like a S shape, they call them, where they got this bend, and they're good and sharp. So these have the titanium carbide inserts, as do the needle holders, which means that the metal here has been fashioned in a way that it's a little bit stronger and more durable to maintain its edge. So TC inserts are a good thing when you're looking at tools. Not all tools have them. And moving along, this guy here, this is the Kral Rankin holder, and basically it's a hemostat that has a curve to it. So curved hemostat is a nice tool for grabbing gauze, pieces of tooth fragments, little tissue tags, whatever's in the mouth, right? It's just a very good tool to have. Again, locking mechanism up top, and yeah, they're just very good. They've got some serrations all along running right from top to bottom on the beak, so it helps you with getting a good grip on things. This guy here, this is the Minnesota retractor, so this was a custom designed retractor that I made, and it's got a nice kind of edge on it here that tapers in that will fit nicely down into your flaps, and it's got this little thumb holder here too, which allows you somewhere to kind of loop it onto and you know, hold it better, right? So typical Minnesotas don't really have that, but it's a nice feature here too, and it's very durable, very solid. XMR is the name on it, and yeah, it's something that I thought would be a great addition. When you first start, you use your mirror a lot to retract. You really should focus on using this for every extraction, just because you need good access in there, and it helps to keep the cheek out of the way, keep things protected, and it's again one of these instruments that just feels good when you hold it. So that's that guy. What is left? We've got your standard sort of periosteal. So this guy here, periosteal elevator, got perforation on here. This guy has one. Their kit will actually have multiple perforations. That's for putting over grafting materials, so you can suction through it and keep the graft in place. It's got the fat side and the narrow side here, so it's just your typical molt periosteal. Nice grippy textured handle, and yeah, they'll be good for raising flaps and that kind of thing. So it's a good instrument. This one here is a serrated curette, and I've used curettes before. Never had a serrated one, but the serrated ones of course have like little cuts in the edges that just make them that much more efficient and better at scooping out some of the gunk that you find in these extraction sockets once you take it out. So the balance of these instruments, again, they feel nice, they are good in your hand, they're nice and sturdy and solid, and you'll love the feel of that guy when you get it. This one here is the drop blade scalpel. I don't know if I've held an instrument that makes me feel more like a surgeon than this tool right here. So this has an eject button on it, so you push this, goes in, and there's this little mechanism here that basically pushes the scalpel blade off the handle. So you can do all your cutting that you need to do, and again, note how it's round. In school they give you the popsicle stick that's like got the little measurements on it. It feels like you're holding this weird flat tool that has no business being used for making incisions, but you need a round scalpel for sure, because you just have so much more dexterity, you can really move around easily. This guy here, again, you eject this scalpel blades when you're done. It makes for like quicker changes. It's safer for your assistants and yourself so that nobody gets injured or cut. And just the weight and the construction of this just feels good. You just feel like you want to make your incision just a little bit bigger just so you can keep using it. Anyways, we got a syringe in here. So this guy here, again, this is just the standard syringe that I would use. And it's got the hex top so it doesn't roll off the tray on you. Pretty standard self-aspirating syringe. And then finally, this guy here is just a needle driver, and yeah, the needle driver here basically will help to let you suture. Now when I suture, I use my hands, so I hand tie. This guy here, this is a Baumgartner needle driver, and it's just, again, got the TC inserts in it to help to keep everything nice and solid on the ends. It'll grip the needles really well, and it'll let you get in there where you need to go. Again, locking mechanism to help you lock the needles in, and construct it again really nicely. So everything, I've taken great care as far as the construction and the coatings and things to try to make sure that these are high quality tools that are going to serve you for a long time. And yeah, I hope that you get as much use out of them as I do, and that you like them as much as I do, because definitely it'll make a difference having these tools, having a system to pair them with, and together you're going to learn to be able to take out lots of teeth in a controlled fashion. So thanks for checking it out, and if you want one of these, again, they're available to members at a discounted price, available to non-members as well, just the regular price. And again, either way you're saving a ton. So that's my hopefully gift to you, and I'll continue to try to build and bring you value.